Andy Dufresne is the main character of The Shawshank Redemption, a story originally penned in 1982 as a short novella by Stephen King. Although known for his grim contributions to the horror genre, the piece showcases King's ability to write engaging drama and becomes a testament to the power of hope and perseverance. The book was solidified as one of the many masterpieces of King's impressive repertoire, highlighted by the success of the 1994 film adaptation, directed by Frank Darabont. Understanding the story's potential, Darabont negotiated a deal to purchase the movie rights with Stephen King in 1987, but did not make the final decision to direct the picture for himself for several years. Fellow Hollywood director Rob Reiner had been initially interested in purchasing the rights, with intentions of having Tom Cruise and Harrison Ford in the starring roles of Andy and Red, respectively. Although Darabont gave this option strong consideration, he felt very strongly that the film could be a rare opportunity that he could not pass up. Although The Shawshank Redemption had only a mediocre run in theaters, it continually drew in endearment to become consistently viewed as one of the best films of all time. The choice of lead actor to take on the role of Andy pulled the interest of several big names, including Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, and Kevin Costner. Despite this, Darabont felt that the best choice was Tim Robbins, who he felt was imbued with a sense of quiet hope and resilience. Like many of Stephen King's works, the story takes place in Maine in the year 1947. Andy is introduced as a young, educated banker who enjoys life but is soon thrown into turmoil as he discovers that his wife has cheated on him. When both she and her golf pro paramour are found to have been murdered by the same type of gun that Andy owns, the verdict is almost foregone, despite the fact that Andy did not in fact commit the crime. A later scene in the film highlights the real killer, Elmo Blatch, as he admits to the killing to one of his cellmates, Tommy Williams, a character that plays a large role midway through the story. Andy is sent to Shawshank Prison, where he becomes known for his quiet, pensive attitude. After making friends with Ellis Redding, Andy begins to adapt to his new life as an inmate, and from the beginning maintains that he is the only true innocent man in Shawshank. One notable hobby, which plays a key role in the conclusion, is his love of lapidary work, cutting and shaping rocks. This notoriety as a rock hound is facilitated through contraband secured by Red, and passively acknowledged by the guards and staff. Andy's background is largely the same in both the book and the film, although some of the events of the book are actually much less violent. Tommy Williams is transferred rather than killed. Warden Norton resigns instead of committing suicide, and Brooks passes away in a nursing facility. One poignant change in the depiction of Andy is that in the book, the reason he had a gun in the first place, King describes as the depression that Andy felt when he discovered his wife's infidelity. Andy had intended to kill himself. Although he eventually decided against it, this became one of the major sources against him and led to his quick conviction. Andy's experience in the prison system loosely mirrors someone moving up through management in a more business setting. When he is first incarcerated, he doesn't interact much with others, preferring to observe and learn all of the systems and social connections between the inmates, guards, and organizational structure of Shawshank. This quiet, thoughtful resilience is what initially attracts Red's attention, and Andy's recognition of Red's respected role among the other inmates causes them to strike up a strong mutual friendship. Later, Andy uses this background and education to further both his position among the guards as well as respect among the inmates, when he has a tense interaction with Captain Byron Hadley during work to re-roof a portion of the prison facility. Andy confronts Hadley regarding a legal loophole in the tax system, which he reveals would greatly benefit Hadley. He offers to complete the necessary forms, requesting only a few beers for each of the inmates that are working as recompense. This reveals his value to the upper management and begins a sequence of events where Andy continually moves closer to the prison warden, Samuel Norton. Andy is eventually admitted to Norton's inner circle of trust, helping him facilitate the corrupt deals that he has set up to make the money off of the inmates' labor. This arrangement also allows Andy to secretly develop knowledge and place long-term plans for an eventual escape.
And that's how it came to pass that on the second to last day of the job, the convict crew that tarred the plate factory roof in the spring of '49 wound up sitting in a row at 10 o'clock in the morning, drinking icy cold Bohemia-style beer, courtesy of the hardest screw that ever walked a turn at Shawshank State Prison.
Drink up while it's cold, ladies.
The colossal prick even managed to sound magnanimous. We sat and drank with the sun on our shoulders and felt like free men. Hell, we could have been tarring the roof of one of our own houses. We were the lords of all creation. As for Andy, he spent that break hunkered in the shade, a strange little smile on his face, watching us drink his beer.
Hey, want a cold one, Andy?
No, thanks. Gave up drinking.
You could argue he'd done it to curry favor with the guards, or maybe make a few friends among us cons. Me, I think he did it just to feel normal again, if only for a short while. And that's how it came to pass, that on the second to last
As Andy grows in respect and admiration among the other inmates and is able to consolidate his value to the administration, he consolidates his role around improving and running the prison library. Andy shows the value of education and wants to be able to improve the lives of those he now lives and works with every day. The initial state of the library is poor, but he again uses his skills, patience, and persistence to continually apply for funding to improve the facilities. The state eventually relents, and Andy is able to not only improve the library itself, but also its services and offerings to the inmates. He uses this opportunity to train other staff, begin an education program for inmates to get their high school diplomas, and uses connections with the administration to grant access to previously unknown benefits, such as listening to music. This gets him into a bit of trouble at one point when he takes advantage of the prison intercom system to play a classical music piece over the entire prison. But he also shows his continued hope and empathy for basic human rights and human respect.
And it was as good as his word. He wrote 2 letters a week instead of 1. In 1959, the state Senate finally clued into the fact they couldn't buy him off with just a $200 check. Appropriations Committee voted an annual payment of $500 just to shut him up. And you'd be amazed how far Andy could stretch it. He made deals with book clubs, charity groups. He bought remaindered books by the pound.
Treasure Island, Robert Louis
Stevenson. Fiction, adventure. What's next?
I got here auto repair and soap carving.
Trade skills and hobbies. Goes under educational. Stack behind you.
Count of Monte Cristo.
That's Christo, you dumb shit.
By Alexandre Dumas. Dumbass.
Dumbass. Dumas. You know what that's about? You'll like it. It's about a prison break.
Well, we ought to file that under educational, too, oughtn't we?
The rest of us did our best to pitch in when and where we could. By the year Kennedy was shot, Andy had transformed a storage room smelling of rat turds and turpentine into the best prison library in New England, complete with a fine
One of Andy's many traits is patience. The central quote of the film, "Get busy living or get busy dying," is quoted between Red and Dufresne in different settings and with different implications. But it also reflects that Andy's ultimate goal from the very first day of his time in Shawshank has been to eventually regain his freedom. His work with the young, misguided inmate Tommy Williams serves as the ultimate catalyst that leads to his escape. Williams reveals that he has served time with the actual killer of Andy's wife and feels confident that he could introduce this information as new testimony for a retrial. Unfortunately, Andy's success in other areas has made him too valuable to the corrupt warden, who will now rest at nothing to keep their arrangement continual. This eventually leads to Williams' death by the prison guards and Andy's punishment in solitary confinement. From that moment forward, Dufresne's plans turn solely to escape, and despite worrying his friends and fellow inmates, his masterpiece is ultimately revealed. Working steadily for years to remove concrete from his cell wall at night, Andy deposited the gravel slowly in the yard. His tunnel was concealed under large posters, which was one of the benefits overlooked by the guards. He gains access to a large sewer pipe out of the prison, crossed through hundreds of yards of human waste, and is deposited outside during a heavy rainstorm, which serves as one of the most iconic scenes in the film. Once out, Andy invokes his long-established plans to assume the fake identity he created through the warden's corruption, using the very money he was directed to conceal as his means of escape to a quiet coastal town in Mexico, a place that Andy tells Red is a warm place with no memory. Using the experiences he learned with Andy, Red eventually gets paroled and acts the final part of the plan, retrieving instructions Andy hid for him to be able to find his location later on. The film concludes with the two old friends reuniting on a sunny beach.
the 5 football fields, just shy of half a mile. 5 football fields. The 5.
Andy Dufresne demonstrated strong leadership skills in the way he adapted to his situation, utilized his skill set, and helped develop those around him for the mutual benefit of all. He showed a remarkable level of patience, persevering through the extremely tough and violent life of an inmate while never losing his own sense of self-worth. Even the other inmates around him recognized this trait, which he later used to give inspiration to others. One famous line by Red noted that Andy strolled like a man in a park without a care or a worry in the world. Maybe it was Andy's knowledge of his own innocence or his ability to look at his own situation and realize even in the prison system he still had the ability to make decisions regarding his own fate. Regardless, one of the best traits was his resiliency. In all the years and decades of confinement, Andy never gave up or gave in to despair, and his empathy for others led him to try and instill the same mindset in others. One of my favorite lines in the film comes from Andy's letter to Red, which he found once he had gotten parole. The line was meant to inspire Red and highlights Andy's awareness of the situations of others around him and their value. Remember, Red, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.
Andy, do you hear that? Rain? Rain? Andy, let me out. Andy? Andy?
I have no idea to this day what those 2 Italian ladies were singing about. Truth is, I don't want to know. Some things are best left unsaid. I like to think they were singing about something so beautiful it can't be expressed in words, and makes your heart ache because of it. I tell you, those voices soared, higher and farther than anybody in a great place dares to dream. It was like some beautiful bird flapped into our drab little cage and made those walls dissolve away. And for the briefest of moments, every last man at Shawshank felt free. It pissed the warden off something awful.
Open the door. Open it up! Dufresne, open this door! Turn that off! I am warning you, Dufresne! Turn that off! Dufresne!
You're mine now.
Andy got 2 weeks in the hole for that little stunt.
On your feet.